Waalaikumsalam.
Gorgeous girls. And now group 4 will present about ecotourism. I believe that not some of us still don't know, still confused about what ecotourism is. So without any further delay, I will let you invite the first presenter to start our presentation.
Thank you. So yeah, from so as we know that tourism is one of the largest and fastest growing industries in the world, and every year many people travel to other world to enjoy new places, find some experiences, and learn other cultures. And also tourism gives so many good impacts, such as more income for the government, more job for local people, and then a chance for cultural exchange between visitors and local communities. However, tourism also brings some problems when it is not managed well. So too many visitors can damage the environment, spread a lot of waste, and cause pollution. And also in some places, a local tradition and daily life is slowly dispersed because everything is changed, and everything is changed to serve tourism. And if it is continuous, nature and culture that should be protected will be lost. So ecotourism is a type of tourism that is not only about fun and relation, but also about protecting nature and helping local people. And through ecotourism, visitors can still enjoy their trip while also learning how to respect the environment and local culture. So this makes ecotourism important for the future of tourism. And in Indonesia, there are so many beautiful places that can be developed through ecotourism. And then forests and beaches to animals and village. So there's so many places. And the next part, I will discuss more about what is ecotourism and its time, its importance, and how it is played in industry. So that's all from me, and then more explanation will be explained.
For the opportunity that given to me, so it's my turn. I would like explanation about the definition of ecotourism. So, but before, let me introduce myself again. My name is Rabia Tuladavia with ID number A1123012. Okay, ecotourism is a type of travel where people visit natural areas in a responsible way. The purpose is not only to enjoy the beauty of nature, but also to protect the environment and to improve the well-being of local communities. It is different from ordinary tourism because the purpose is not only on entertainment or comfort, but also on learning, respecting nature, and supporting local people. According to the International Ecotourism Society, ecotourism also includes education and cultural respect. This means that tourism are not only visiting a place, but also learning about nature, local traditions, and how to protect them. The main goals of ecotourism are to reduce negative impacts on the environment, to increase awareness of conservation among visitors, to provide financial and social benefits for local people, and the last one is to promote cultural understanding and respect. For example, imagine a person visiting a waterfall in a rural village. Instead of only taking pictures or relaxing, the tourists also join tree planting with local people, buys handmade craft from villagers, and learns how the community keeps the river clean. In this way, the visitor still enjoys the trip but also helps protect the environment and support the local community. In short, ecotourism is different from mass tourism. Mass tourism
one is nature-based ecotourism. So this type of ecotourism involves visiting natural landscapes such as mountains, national park, forests, rivers, and then wildlife reserve. So the tourists may enjoy hiking, bird watching, or simply observing the beauty of nature. So the purpose is not only education, but also to raise awareness of the importance of protecting ecosystem. The second one is culture ecotourism. So this type focus on visiting local communities to learn about their tradition, art, language, and ways of life. So for example, the tourists might stay in a traditional village and join cultural communities or learn about local crafts. So this type of ecotourism helps preserve culture, heritage, and gives financial benefits directly to local people.
Has many important roles in the modern tourism industry. For the first one is environmental importance. Ecotourism, protection of biodiversity and natural resources. Entrance fees or contribution from tourists often go direct conservation projects such as maintaining national parks or protecting endangered species. By educating visitors, ecotourism also encourages more people to care about the environment. The second one is economic importance. Unlike mass tourism where profits often go to big companies, ecotourism usually provides income directly to local communities. It creates job opportunities such as local guides, homestay owners, or handicraft sellers. This helps reduce poverty and support rural development. And the other one is social and cultural importance. Ecotourism strengthens community identity and help preserve the traditions by interacting.
Waterfall, one of the most famous ecotourism destinations in Central Sulawesi. It is located in Sementu Village, North Samarang District of Surajan. And what makes this waterfall unique is that it has 12 natural terraces where fresh water flows beautiful over the rocks, surrounded by tropical forest and fresh mountain air. The atmosphere feels peaceful and refreshing. Another advantage is its strategic location. It is only about 12 kilometers from Centena and very close to Lake Poso, one of the large and big lakes in Indonesia. From Palu, the capital city of Central Sulawesi, the trip takes about 5 to 6 hours, but from Centena, it only takes around 30 minutes. And the entrance fee is also affordable, Rp10 for domestic visitors and 25 for international tourists. Parking fees are small, and this money helps.
My name is Lasana. I'm everyone from Diwalu. So I will explain about flora in Soloso Waterfall. At Soloso Waterfall, we can find many kinds of plants. One of them is Pidoli, a valuable herbivore from Sulawesi that is often used for furniture and handicraft. Another important plant is the Sulawesi Rattan, which is very useful for many traditional woven products. We can also see begonia, a beautiful plant with colorful leaves that usually grows in moist area. And the orchid is also common here, growing on tree trunks and now for its attractive flowers. Finally, there is bamboo, which grows in groups and is very important for building daily tools and also for protecting the soil and water around the waterfall. Di Salpa tidak hanya indah, tetapi juga akan kaya akan keanekaragaman hayati
dan memiliki nilai penting bagi budaya serta lingkungan sekitar. I think that's all from me. The next material sendiri dan sendiri, I will continue the material. So besides having the flora that my friend has already explained, Salwoko Waterfall is home to several unique and endemic species that highlight the ecological importance of the area. Among them are freshwater shrimps such as Caribina, as you can see on the LCD, atau udang Karides Sulawesi that live in the clear streams near the waterfall. The waters also has the endemic eel like fish, known locally as sidat or sanheli, which is an important species in Poso's aquatic ecosystem. The forest canopy is unwoven by the red-eared fruit dove or burung merpati merah Sulawesi, an endemic bird that contributes to seed dispersal and forest regeneration. Additionally, caves and forest areas around Salwapa Waterfall provide habitat for the Poso horseshoe bat atau kelelawar tapal kuda Poso, a mammal that plays an important role in controlling insect population and maintaining ecological balance.
Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, my name is Kaki Ramadhani, class ID number 025, and you have already explained about ecotourism and some beautiful places in Central Sulawesi. Like ecotourism is good for nature and local people, but if there are no clear rules, it can also cause problems. So my question is, what kind of policies and regulation should local government make to keep ecotourism sustainable, especially in fragile places like Central Sulawesi? Thank you.
So the question is, the Salwapa Waterfall study shows a new paper on the positive impact of ecotourism. So how could uncontrolled visitor growth as such since actually threaten the sustainability the ecotourism aims to protect? And what solutions could be implemented to prevent this? I mean, if the visitors are so many visitors and the ecosystem is how can we control and what solution?
The Salwapa Waterfall case study shows positive impact of ecotourism. How could uncontrolled visitors growth at such sites easily threaten the sustainability that ecotourism aims to protect? What solution could be implemented to prevent this? So my answer is growth can harm ecotourism since because too many people may damage the natural environment. For example, too many footsteps can destroy plants, littering can pollute the water, and noise can disturb animals. If this happens, the place will lose its natural beauty and the community will lose future benefits. To prevent this, some solutions can be applied. First, the government or local community can set a limit on the number of visitors each day. Second, clear rules should be given, such as do not litter or stay on the walking path. Third, education programs can teach visitors why protecting nature is important. And the last one is of the money from tiket sedang untuk dipandang. Untuk mencegah hal ini, pengelola bisa membatasi jumlah pengunjung setiap harinya agar alam tetap terjaga. Aturan kebersihan harus diterapkan dengan menyediakan tempat sampah dan mengingatkan pengunjung agar tidak membuang sampah sembarangan. Jalur khusus juga bisa dibuat supaya tanaman di sekitar air terjun tidak rusak karena terinjak. Atau mungkin juga bisa diberikan fasilitas atau ditambahkan batuan agar supaya tidak
I think if a local people, I think if a local place, if there is a local place that's very beautiful but still restricted, I think it usually means that community wants to protect that place. So sometimes local people limit access because they are afraid that too many visitors will damage the environment or disturb their traditions, right? So begitu dikasih
Oh ya,
dikasih apa sih?
like aja arahan sebelum itu kayak pamfletnya, kayak limit slot.
Iya, limit slot. Ya.
Okay, so the solution like make pamphlet or poster about the limited slot, like 1,000 only. Yeah, inform the visitors, and then Umas suggestion like limit the time. Thank you. Thank you.
So local governments need to keep ecotourism stopping pollution and unsustainable constructions. Importantly, involving local communities in tourism management ensures economic benefits without sacrificing their culture or environment. Without clear enforced regulation and community participation, ecotourism can harm fragile ecosystems instead of help.
Presenters, and also thank you for the active participation. Close with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Well done. Very good. Okay, Mary, you may go back to your chair. The topic of group course presentation is fascinating, increasing, just like group C. And those who raise questions, thank you very much, especially Asrul and again. Your questions are very inspiring. Well, Central Sulawesi is famous for ecotourism. Have you ever been to Tentena?
Yes.
One of the biggest lakes in Indonesia. The lake is very large and deep. And in Tentena, they have well-known ecotourism, agroecotourism. Well, they've got eel farms, Sohili. Kita namakan Sohili atau tidak terkenal, diekspor ke Cina. Kemudian waterfall. What's the name of the waterfall? I told you. Sorry, apa?
12 tingkat.
12 tingkat?
Iya.
Luar biasa kaya. Kalau bangunan di Kota Palu. 2-3 tingkat. Sudah pernah ke sana? Kalau sudah pernah ke sana, kita bilang bukan have you gone to Tentena or waterfall? Have you been to Tentena? Have you been to the waterfall area? Ya, have you been? Bukan have you gone. Kalau gone bisa berarti sudah pergi atau sudah meninggal. She's gone. Dia sudah pergi, sudah meninggal. Passed away. Selalu berikut, ya. Di sini kita lihat ada lanjut next slide. Ya, ini kalau kita bicara ecotourism includes ada flora in Saloka waterfall di area, ada ebony, botany bagian botak, Sulawesi kan, ada bunga, ada orchid, ada bambu. Ya, menarik bambu. Ini karena di negara berbahasa Inggris, ya pada umumnya English speaking countries kebanyakan subtropis ya. Ini tanaman di tropis, di negara yang di Afrika Khatulistiwa. Sehingga banyak kosakata yang dari perspektif linguistik, banyak kosakata yang ada di negara tropis, buah-buahan, sayur-sayuran, tanaman, herbal apa, diadopsi ke dalam bahasa Inggris. Karena di sana tidak ada seperti apa sagu, apa lagi? Bambu, sarung, durian, rambutan, karena tidak ada di sana. Sudah masuk dalam kamus. Bahkan yang istilah-istilah untuk busana muslim, hijab sudah masuk ke dalam kamus bahasa Inggris yang menyesuaikan. Jadi kaya bahasa Inggris kosakata. Oke, next slide. Ya, ini tidak hanya flora, ya, ada juga fauna, terutama endangered species, ya. Hewan langka. Kalau kalian ini aneh-aneh dan tidak ada saingan, tidak ada lawan atau tidak ada yang sama, kalian termasuk makhluk langka. Ya, langka, jangan sampai punah. Just kidding. Nah, ini misalnya ada udang, Carina shrimp, ada sidat, sogiri. Siapa sudah pernah makan sogiri? Ya pasti ada di sana. Ya, kita sogiri tapi bukan sidat atau il ya. Nah, kemudian ada burung merpati, ini bertutur ya. Kemudian ada paniki. Kita orang di Sulawesi Tengah bilang paniki. Kalau bahasa Indonesia-nya kelelawar. Ini dimakan juga.
Iya, dimakan juga.
Cuma dia kecil ini badannya. Oke, next. Next, thank you. Jadi menarik sekali. Saya sengaja ya ajarkan kalian di negara-negara maju orang belajar bahasa tidak lagi macam belajar membaca. B tambah umpu, D tambah idi, budi, atau belajar yang kaku. Apakah Anda sudah sarapan pada pagi hari ini? Orang ngomong otentik. That's why I want you to learn English through authentic material. Selesai itu ya. Bukan. Apakah Anda telah menyelesaikan pekerjaan rumah pada hari ini? Orang mulai belajar bahasa Indonesia karena tidak otentik material. Kita harus belajar bahasa Inggris seperti orang Inggris ngomong, berkomunikasi. Mau pergi mana nak? Sapi main bola sekat, sapi main bola sana. Kalau di Sumatera ada, kalau ngomong dalam konteks speech, ya, dalam konteks politik, orang ngomong begitu, tapi lebih enak, lebih daripada still case, kaku. Ya. Sudahkah Anda sarapan pada pagi hari ini? Ya, tapi orang barat juga belajar bahasa Indonesia. Biasa kaku karena dari buku dia belajar. Tapi mereka kebanyakan learn Indonesian language, Indonesia sangat otentik ya. Mereka belajar sehingga tidak kaku. Sebab ada juga yang orang barat ngomong bahasa Indonesia, dia sangat gramatikal dan terpengaruh. Dia pikir ketika menggunakan kata kerja semua awalannya melihat, menyanyi, semua dia kira kata-kata. Jadi pas dia datang ke hotel dia bilang, miss, saya mau meninggal di hotel sini. Padahal tinggal ya karena dia tahu bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia semua awalannya meninggal. Jadi untuk hari ini kita pertemuan ke-7, insya Allah kita pertemuan ke-8. Masih 2 lagi ya. Ya, nanti kita lihat apakah Kekom atau CA. Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate your participation and contribution to the group discussion. Group C just presented their paper, English as a tool of tourism industry. I just corrected. And I was impressed with your questions, raised and the answers as well. Especially, someone raised a question on the language of tourism used in Germany. Why? She thought that German people are very fanatic with their language, their own language, their mother tongue. So that's why she thought that they just use German in Germany. Germany is the city, the country. Not only Germany, Japan, Thailand, I have been there, and China, they are very fanatical with their own language, their mother tongue, their national language. But in reality, study reported recently that the speakers of English around the world have increased to more than a quarter, more than let's say lebih dari 1/4% penutur bahasa di dunia adalah bahasa Inggris. Walaupun bahasa Inggris berasal dari negara UK, Britania Raya, negara kecil kepulauan yang di zaman es memang masih sambung dengan Eropa. Tapi negara kecil itu adalah negara penjelajah. Negara, ya bahasa kasarnya penjajah, tapi mereka pada umumnya memakmurkan negara-negara yang di bekas jajahannya. Makanya negara persemakmuran ya. Singapura, Malaysia, Australia, New Zealand, bahkan Amerika juga pernah jadi oleh Inggris kecil tapi kecil berani dan terkenal, dan kita bangga menjadi mahasiswa prodi
Bahasa Inggris.
Ya. Tadi kalau menyebutkan saya tanpa opinion ya. Are you happy with the answer? Ya, begitu kalau di diskusi di luar negeri di negara berbahasa Inggris dia tidak bilang are you satisfied? Kalau satisfied makan dan minum. Apa Anda puas dengan makanan itu? Kalau diskusi happy sudah mengandung arti senang, terima, puas. Are you happy with the answer? Oke, menarik sekali ya. Bahasa Inggris sebagai alat komunikasi. Ya. Namun saya sebagai turis juga, saya ke Cina Selatan tahun lalu. Di sana tidak banyak orang bisa bahasa Inggris, kecuali orang well educated ya. Terpaksa apa andalan adalah Google Translation ya. Sedikit-sedikit kalau belanja pakai terjemahan bahasa Mandarin. Nah, dengan adanya AI, dengan adanya digital technology, kita semakin mudah untuk berkomunikasi ya. So tourism industry, in the context of industry where the tool of communication, means of communication is language, tourists can use digital technology for translation, etc. Okay, that's it. Now I would like to invite. Thank you very much. You may go back to your seat. Big applause. Now let us welcome Group 4 to present their paper. Now, time is yours to present your presentation.